Hi guys, it's Emily from Novel Novels and welcome to today's video. This is going to be my favourite books of 2021 so far. Now, we're at the end of June when this goes live and I thought I would show you the favourite books of the first 6 months of the year because already I'm doing well. Now, I actually really struggle with this to find like 10 books that would jump out at me that are amazing, because I do try and put like a note on my log of what books have really stood out to me, but it's like really hard because there's been quite a few 5 stars and I wanted to know which 5 stars have stayed in my brain the longest. And I want to know, before this video starts, what books do you think are going to be in this top 10, because I've managed to actually hold it down to 10. Now, the first 5 are not in order, the second 5 are, and I do already have a favourite book of the year so far. And another one. See if you can predict which book is going to be my favourite book of the year so far before you even watch this video. I wonder if any of you will guess. Now, like I said, I've had a great reading month. I've got a real mix of genres just to give you a sneaky peek. I've got some historical fictions, but surprisingly, I've got a lot of YA contemporaries. Let's see what you think. So a book that you knew was going to be on the top 10, but I can't place it in order, but it's not as good as some of the other ones, but it's brilliant. You knew this was going to be on there. A Vow So Bold and Deadly by Bridget Kemmerer, the third in the series, so I can't really tell you too much about it. If you guys know, Casted Dark and Lonely is my favourite book, probably one of my favourite books of all time ever. This is the third in the series and it was brilliant. Not quite as 100% as the first one, but it was still fantastic and it still deserved to be in my top 10. And it is more about Rian and Grey, and it tied everything together. It's the last book in this series. She won't be writing anymore. So this one definitely deserved to go in the top 10. I still love the copy. I still love the fact that my editions match. I loved my series match. I think it was brilliant. But I can't tell you too much about it because you've got to read the first 2. And if I've not raved about A Curse of Dark and Lonely or A Vow So Bold and Deadly or Hearts of Fierce and Broken, if you've not read it, why? You're subscribed to me. You're going to love me, you know. Brilliant series. My first fantasy series that I fell in love with. Now, talking about contemporaries, so we'll talk about sort of fantasies, dystopic fantasies. This is another one in the series. This is the Mallory Blackman's. I think this is the 3rd or 4th in the series. And out of the ones I've read this year, I've decided that this is my favourite of the series so far, and it had to be in the top 10. Because this is, again, I can't really tell you too much. Why have I picked books from series that are going in this? I don't know. But you know, Noughts and Crosses is the first book. And we have Checkmate and Knife Edge. So Knife Edge, so this is the 3rd actually, because Knife Edge came before this. And this is when Seffi's and Callum's daughter, Callie Rose, and this is more about her, and this is about her battles, and it's really a lot about Seffi's relationship with her. I think this is the favourite of the series so far, although the one I've just read, Double Cross, was bloody good. That was really, really good. Double Cross was really, really good. But this one I loved. I think it's because I loved the mother and daughter element of this. I loved Callie Rose rebelling, and I can't tell you too much, but it's just another series. If you don't pick this, if you like me and you want dystopic, tackles racism on a different scale, because I think the whole point of the Noughts and Crosses series is it's turned racism on its head. Because at the current situation, we have one colour that's not as dominant as the other colour, and this has turned it right around on its face. So in this, the white people are not the dominant race. They are the ones that are oppressed. They're the ones that are sort of treated as the weaker colour, and the blacks in this are treated as the strongest, and they're the ones that are in Parliament. They're the ones that rule the world, and this is literally turning it all on its head. And I think this is a very good series. It's brilliant. Mallory Blackman is an amazing writer. I love her work. This is more YA again, so I don't class YA as a genre, but it's more of an age range. But I think it's an age range that, for me, this series is brilliant. It's one of my favourite series of all time, and I cannot wait. I've just found out, if I haven't told you yet, that she's put another book out that's coming out in the series that's coming out in September, which of course I'll be buying straight away. So it's another book to add to my series, so I'm going to have another book to finish off the series, but that'll be ready in October. I think that'll be quite fun to read that alongside Victober actually, but this had to go in the series. Now I've got a couple of cheeky litty contemporaries that are going in, and I had one book in mind, but I changed my mind because I decided I would go with a book that I bought last year. It's relatively new. I need to buy this author's newest one because it's on Amazon for £4.50, and I'm still trying to debate whether I go on Amazon for £4.50, wait for it to come out in the charity shops, or do I go to a supermarket and buy it? But this one I bought last year because it was a new release. It was at the time when obviously COVID was first going on, and it's about a patchwork family. Now you guys know family is very important to me. And this is about a patchwork family. So it's not family, it's blood. It's a family that's pieces of family. So it's pieces of different generations. It's friends that become like a family. Gina has been going on flow for years, but she'd rather have an easy life than face conflict. That's me, I don't like conflict. She runs a child-minded business from her cottage at the end of the Evergreens, a charming Victorian house and home to 3 octogenarians who are far too much fun at their age. But when Evergreens is put up for sale, Gina and her family of friends face losing their home, and it's about them piecing it together, about generations, how they can work together. I love this book. It's actually one of my only contemporary books that I paid full price for, that I've kept. Do I look for her next book, which is I can't remember its name, but do you guys think I should pay full price for it? Do you think I should go and buy myself it because I love this that much? I think I'm gonna. Don't know. Let me know what you think. But yeah, that is definitely deserved to be in my top 10. Now another series book that had to go in my top 10, and that is my proof copy that I got sent by Tandem, and this is the Katherine Pass. This is the story of Katherine Parr, the 6th wife. And actually, even though it was always, I couldn't decide who my favourite queen was, Katherine Parr is by far my favourite of the queens now, and this book is by far my favourite of the series. It's her last queen, and this one really does tell her story. It tells a story from childhood to her husbands that she loses, to her relationship with King Henry VIII, to her life after King Henry VIII, and what happened to her in the end. I'm sure most of you know about what happened, how she died in childbirth. But that story is just heartbreaking, and I've read that Alison Weir actually thinks that this is her best book, and Katherine Parr was her best one. To me, it really was. It was just the best, and I love this series. I've loved reading all of the series, and it's one that I would recommend to all of you that love Tudor books, Tudor work. I now agree with my lovely friend Julie, who said that Alison Weir was her favourite over her or Philippa Gregory. Yeah, Alison Weir fictional work is amazing. It's amazing. I'm not as keen on her non-fiction, but her fictional work on the Tudor, she combines fiction and non-fiction in such an amazing way that you are gripped with her books and you love it. So if you like Tudor fiction, pick this up. That was one of my Tandem books, and it's funny that the next book is a Tandem book that I got from Tandem. Tandem.co.uk, and this is The Paris Library. So this is a wartime fiction or historical fiction book. Got this from Tandem last year. They've got a gorgeous, oh my god, look how beautiful this is. This is going to be one that will come from this book. I have any tags about end pages. Look at this. It's a stunning, stunning book. It's one of my favourite hardback books. The back of it, in the darkness of war, the light of books. There is some quotes in this that I've kept because they're amazing. This is set in Paris in the World War II, and in the library. And it's sort of about how libraries are our saviour. They are our darkness, and it's about the resistance. It's torn between the future and the past, though, so it's not totally in that. It's about a lady who is part of the French, works for French in the World War II, but it's also about a young girl in the 1990s, I believe. So the leading lady in this first one, in the World War II, is Ideal. But then you've got Lily, who's in the present day, and she's also experiencing her own battles, and their lives in the present, sort of 1990s, I think, how their lives combine and how their lives interact and how their stories combine. And it's fantastic about intergenerational links, how our history makes us, how our experiences, it's what we make of our experiences. This is a fantastic book, and I thoroughly recommend it to everyone. So these are the top 5 that are not rated because I can't decide any of the ratings on that. They're all fantastic. And now I go into the top 5 books of 2021 so far. Let's see if you can predict. So number 5, Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell. I buddy read this with some lovely people. I loved it. I buddy read it with Gemma and Tom, and I think mainly me and Gemma, I think we read it together. But this is a fantastic book. I read it in March for my birthday. To me, this is Elizabeth Gaskell's, one of my favourites of Elizabeth Gaskell. I read North and South last year, and I think that was in my top 10 last year. But this, even though this didn't get completed at the end because Elizabeth Gaskell died at the end of writing it, it still is every bit of epic story. It's amazing. It's about a girl, Molly, who is so strong and just amazing, and her father and her stepmother and her stepsister, and it's got the sister bond, it's got romance, it's got everything. And the way they sort of tied it together at the end anyway, what they imagined that she was going to write from her notes, it's incredible. Elizabeth Gaskell is one of my favourite classic authors, and now you know I love the Brontes. I am going to buy Ruth because I am going to be reading Ruth in October, and that's my last of her main novels that I want to be reading. I'm also going to be reading Sylvia's Lovers as well, so I'm going to be reading all her main works this year. But this was amazing. It's by far one of my favourite. I think it's probably my favourite classic of the year so far. So love this. Thoroughly recommend. That's number 5. Talking about Philippa Gregory. Number 4 is Tidelands, which is one of her newer books. The lovely Charlie from BookTube Charlie has also got me Dark Tides, which is the following one to this, which I need to get around to. He bought me that for my either Christmas or birthday present. They bought for me as a birthday present. Funny, he bought me that this last year. He bought me the Dark Tides this year. And Philippa Gregory, this isn't a Tudor book. This is set in 1648 in the bloody civil war that was going on. And this is a darker, not Tudor, but it's fantastic. It's an amazing book. It's one of the first books I read this year, and one that's held such a hard part in my life. It's really taken a part of me because it's actually one I've kept, and I don't normally keep all my books. Without a husband, Eleanor is struggling to make ends meet. The villagers suspect her of possessing dark secrets and watch her every move. When she meets James, the man of status who needs a place of refuge for the night, she risks everything to show him the hidden ways across the treacherous marsh. Fantastic. Strong women, strong characters. Bloody love this. Really loved it. And I think I kept Charlie's note. Yeah, I even kept Charlie's note in this, so love that. Now, a book that is a contemporary book, but probably my favourite of the contemporaries. My favourite, funniest book. Actually, it's not my favourite. Yeah, the other two. But this is one of my favourite books. And this was another birthday present. Gaia from Gaia Athena gave me this for my birthday. It's the 4th in the series. I think they're going third or 4th. And the funniest. It is literally the last in the series, and it's one that I loved. And it's about a mum, and I've loved all of her books. I've loved the Why Mummy Drinks, Why Mummy Swears, Why Mummy Doesn't Give Up. And this is brilliant because in this, it's her daughter. Her children are older. They're in their like 18 and 16, I believe, in this. And it's about this mum, and she's really real. She's got the way she is, she drinks, she is who she is. She's very much what it says on the tin, and it's fantastic. Mummy has been a wife and a mother for too long, so she's a bit lost because her kids are getting older. Despite her best efforts, her precious moppets don't know the location of the laundry basket. God knows if Mighty will ever learn that. But I can't find it, Mummy. But as her kids are getting older, and her kids are older, and she's trying to find herself in this book, and it's fantastic. I love this series. I can't thank Gaia enough for giving me this. So that is number 3. I know, it's a really gorgeous book. Sorry, you keep spilling my pages. It's not got the best end pages, but the cover's fantastic. So that was number 3. Number 2 is actually one that's straight away just been added to the list. It's one that I'm desperate for. It's one that I read in June with the lovely Chloe from Chloe Reads Books. It is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Now, my sister Charlie gave me this for my birthday. I have read Daisy Jones and 6, but I want my own copy of it. So if anyone's selling it or anyone got it on second hand, let me know because I'd love it. This is fantastic. It's historical fiction, so I thought it was contemporary, but no, it isn't. It's historical fiction. This one has been all over BookTube. Everyone's talked about it. I want the next one. I want Malibu Rising now, but I'm waiting for it to see if Amazon decides to sell it at a cheaper price because I want it, because this was bloody good. It's about Evelyn Hugo and her 7 husbands and her story from when she's younger and she meets the first through to her end. And she's also she's telling her story to a journalist who's been picked, so-called from random. And this journalist doesn't know why she's been picked to tell Evelyn Hugo's story. But she loves hearing it, and it's brilliant. It's every bit as exciting, epic, fantastic, tells her stories so well, and it's a book that will probably always live in my heart. It's one of the best books ever. I just loved it. It had to go in the top 10. It wasn't even an option. Loved reading it with Chloe. We both just flew through it in the end. It's probably our favourite book, our favourite buddy read. And you're meeting it, so it's making her way in Los Angeles from the 1950s to leaving showbiz in the 80s. So she's got the 50s, 60s, 70s and 80s. Some amazing eras in our history. And this is just brilliant. Evelyn Hugo is such a great woman, and I love this book. Thoroughly recommend it. So now we're on it. My favourite book of the year so far. See if you could predict. Dun, dun, dun. Get a Life, Chloe Brown. Had to be my favourite book of the year so far. I loved Take the Hint, Danny Brown. I cannot wait to read Eve Brown's story in August, which is a little sneaky peek from my August TBR. Again, this one I was sent by the lovely Cat from Brews and Reviews as a Christmas present. I love this book. It is one of the best books ever. This is portraying Chloe Brown's story because she's chronically ill. She's a computer geek with a goal, a plan and a list. Well, almost, not quite. She's come up with the directives to help her get a life. She's got to enjoy a drunken night out, ride a motorcycle, go camping, have meaningless but thoroughly enjoyable sex, travel the world with nothing but hand luggage, and do something bad. Now, after my car accident, I had a list of things that I wanted to do. Fortunately, because Chris has not taken the hint and got married, that's the last one on my list, but that's the only one I've not achieved. I went on the back of a motorcycle. That was one of my goals. I loved it. I went in a 2-seater aeroplane with a fling. I did some naughty things on the sex one. We're not going to go there because you all think I'm sweet and innocent. I've made my parents' glasses. Well, that was in the early days. I've gone on. I would like to go camping. Maybe I should write a new list for my sort of 40s, the things I want to get done before I'm 50. God, that's only 8 years away. I might do that. But this is like Take a Hint, and it's about how your chronic pain doesn't have to define you. Chloe's character, and it is probably one of the best portrayals of chronic pain that I've read about. You guys know I've got chronic pain, and I live with the fact my life is adjusted to it. But this is about how you can still achieve your goals despite having your disabilities. And I think it's fantastic portrayed. I love the raunchy, naughty scenes in this. I love the bond. We do meet her sisters, her 2 sisters, Eve and Danny, in this book. And that's brilliant. The romance is great. It's just one of my favourite books ever, I think. It's kind of up there with The Curse of Dark and Lonely. It's probably one you'll hear on every single tag video coming up. You know, it's just an amazing book. I want to read more books on chronic pain. Please, like I said, guys, let me know if you know any books about that. But this is just fantastic. It well and truly earned its top place. So, guys, did you predict what my top book of 2021 would be so far? As you can tell, I've not put it in my thumbnail because I'm not sure what book I'm going to put in my thumbnail. But let me know what's been your favourite book of the year so far. Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and not subscribed yet, ring on my ding-a-ling. And I'll see you all soon. Let's see what the second half of 2021 brings. Yay!